going on, Jerome's? It's a beautiful Monday, and as we rapidly approach free agency, the major question for the Vikings this offseason is, will Kirk Jerome, Ezekiel Cousins be back in purple? Yes, Kirk is going to be 36. Yes, he's coming off a popped Achilles, but over the last season and a half, he's played some of the best ball of his career, would have firmly been in the MVP race, and Kirko's given lip service to the idea of a hometown discount, but every single time he mentions getting to March. And the Vikings and Kirk could re-sign an extension right now. But I think Kirk and his agent, Mike McCarthy, respect. They definitely want to weigh their options, which is their prerogative. And I think that teams will show Kirko the money, and Kirk, likely wants multi-years, likely wants guaranteed money in those later years, and maybe it's not about top dollar, maybe it's about guaranteed dollar as well as spread out dollar. Enter the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think there will be teams vying for Kirk Cousins' services. You look at maybe Atlanta, you look at possibly New England if they don't like whoever's left over of the top three picks, and also Pittsburgh. And, Kirko loves him some Primanti brothers, so that's certainly going to work out there. But here are five reasons why the Steelers and Kirk Cousins make all the sense in the world. Number one, the Steelers are a quarterback away, and the Steelers roster is a pretty damn solid. And I feel like the potential of George Pickens and also the potential of Deontay Johnson isn't being reached, obviously, with the quarterback play of Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. And also, I think a lot of their acting out has to do with the quarterback play. Whereas if they had a veteran, someone who would get them the ball on time, on purpose, and accurately and consistently, I think magically a lot of those problems do go away. Offensive line-wise, could use a little bit of polish there, but I do like the 1-2 punch of Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. Although, Jaylen Warren got fined so many times, I'm pretty sure he played for free last year. It's pretty close, man. As well as the reunion with Mason Cole and Patrick Peterson and Sean Sullivan. Yeah, why the hell not? Defensively, T.J. Watt is still one of the best edge rushers in the game. And even though he's certainly getting older, Cameron Hayward is still one of the best five techs out there. Keanu Benton from Wisconsin is a huge crush of mine. He's absolutely killing it in Pittsburgh right now. As well as you do have Highsmith, who's been signed to an extension. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr. looks like one of the better young corners in the game, and also Minka, like when he's on, he's certainly on. So the Steelers do have a lot of talent. They have a lot of young talent as well as sprinkled in with some veterans there, and maybe it's a spot where they want to push and possibly get Cameron Hayward another Super Bowl. They want to get T.J. Watt to a Super Bowl to begin with. So it's very possible that they go all in this spot and really push the envelope for trying to get it done. Secondly, so the Steelers are a quarterback away, and even though the Steelers are technically $15 million over the cap right now, there's a lot of dead weight that they certainly could move out. Allen Robinson, notably, would free up around $10 million in cap space. Maybe the veteran James Daniels, Patrick Peterson, certainly Mitchell Trubisky-Ponder, as well as potential restructure of TJ and his $30.4 million cap hit, maybe Minka, maybe Cameron Hayward, and also maybe a guy like Deontay Johnson as well. So if the Steelers are motivated, they certainly can clear up that cap space and get something done with Kirk Cousins. Reason number two, I feel like Tomlin is sick of meh. Right, so Mike Tomlin is regarded as one of the best coaches in the game, but even hardcore Steelers fans are like, maybe it's time for us to go in a new direction. And Tomlin famously has never had a losing season, but he has won the NFC North once in the last 6 years, and it's been 8 seasons since his last playoff win in Pittsburgh. And Tomlin won with prime Big Ben, and that's what their motif was. But the whole thing about it is that what's it going to take? And I feel like a lot of valid criticism is there. It's like Tomlin, where's his coaching tree? Where's the assistants that he develops? Where's the guys that go on to head coaching jobs? And overall, Bruce Arians was the last good offensive coordinator that he had. He stuck with Matt Canada for way too long. The Arthur Smith hire is sort of whatever, but I don't know. I don't know. And it has been a hot second. It's been 14 seasons since the Steelers were back in the Super Bowl, and this is a franchise that has grown accustomed to winning. 4 Super Bowls with Chuck Noll, Super Bowl with Bill Cowher, and then also getting it done with Tomlin. And why'd you have to lose to the freaking Packers in 2010, man? That means that Rodgers would have had 0 goose egg D'Angelo Russell rings, but it is what it is. And again, Tomlin, respect. Like I would throw, I like Kevin O'Connell, and I would throw him off of a bridge in 2 seconds if Mike Tomlin was a free agent to go get him in here. Next up, reason number 3. So Arthur Smith, who's a new OC in Pittsburgh, like he loves a Kirko style quarterback. Now, yeah, he rightfully gets heat for his usage of his playmakers in Atlanta, but the quarterback play was not great. Desmond Ridder is not it. Taylor Heineke is not it. And you look at where his offense looked the best in Tennessee. Yes, you had prime Derrick Henry, so that's pretty damn easy. But frankly, Tannehill, who've been taken off the scrap heap, because remember, Tannehill didn't work out in Miami, and he signed in Tennessee as the backup to Marcus Mariota. But eventually, Tannehill got the job, inked up an extension there, and that's what Arthur Smith wants, where he wants a pocket quarterback who can operate off of play action and after an established running game, and someone who can deal to the weapons. And that's what Tannehill was in Tennessee. And Kirko, even though they're roughly the same age, is a much more upgraded version of Ryan Tannehill, and it would make more sense. Now, could the Steelers just sign Tannehill for like half the price? Maybe, but I think it's a spot where you get what you pay for, and Kirk Cousins would be a significant upgrade on this offense over the current quarterbacks, which is number 4. So Kenny Pickett, small hand, smells like cabbage. Mason Rudolph. I mean, you started a playoff game with Mason Rudolph, man. Come on, man. And also, they do have the number 20 overall pick, but are you going to roll with a Penix or a Nix or McCarthy if they get to that spot? I don't know. And it might be time for a new beginning for the Steelers. Now, Pittsburgh is a team that is stuck in tradition, right? They've had 3 coaches since like Vietnam or something like that. As I just choked up thinking about it. But I mean, they have always drafted their quarterbacks for the most part. You look at they drafted Terry Bradshaw, then Mark Malone, then Bubby Brister, then Neil O'Donnell, then Cordell Stewart, then Big Ben, then Kenny Pickett. That's what they want to do. Like they draft and they develop in-house, and they haven't broken the bank on a free agent quarterback, but it kind of feels like things are aligning, and now is the time. Like if they want one last ride with Cameron Hayward, if they want to get TJ to a Super Bowl before his prime ends, and if they want to get the most out of these young receivers, Kirk is the way to go. Because Kenny Pickett ain't getting it done. Mason Rudolph, his ceiling is massively capped. And are you going to roll the dice with another rookie quarterback? Or are you going to try and get something done now? In a very competitive AFC North? Are you going to try to get something done now in the next 2 to 3 years, which I think Kirk is still certainly going to be in his prime, and there's a window there, and a quarterback that will fit hand in glove with what your new offensive coordinator wants to do, as well as a guy who can get the most out of George Pickens, a guy who can get the most out of Deontay Johnson, Freiermuth, etc. It's got to be tempting. It certainly has to be tempting. And, a lot of people have connected the dots between him and Atlanta. I think if Belichick would have ended up in Atlanta, I think Kirk would be there. But, I mean, the Steelers make a ton of sense. And I think that, the Vikings, would want to bring him back if the price was right. But all it takes is one other team to really drive up that price. And even though Pittsburgh will have to do some cap wrangling, I think they can get it done. I think they could probably offer Kirk, say a 3-year, $120 million deal, $40 million per season, but with $80 guaranteed through year 2 and 3. I think that could be appealing, and I think that he may make the move. And I think that for the Vikings, it's a business decision, and it may be the best for both parties. Actually, all 3 parties. So who knows, man? But your thoughts are thoughts. 5 reasons why Kirk Cousins and the Steelers make sense. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol. Production value.